Hi everybody, it's Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I'm here today to do my TBR for Women's History Month and March Mystery Madness. I really get excited. I love doing hashtag Read Till It in February. It's like February, March is just delicious because March we get to focus on mysteries. And that's one of the genres that I read when I was younger and really enjoyed it. So it's exciting to delve in. For some reason, because I'm reading a lot more nonfiction and other things, I'm not always reading mysteries. So this is like a great excuse to pull out the mysteries that are on my shelf that I haven't read and read. Now, there is a whole March Mystery Madness group of hosts this year, and there's a bunch of, there's prompts for it. I tend to not follow the prompts as much as I like to play along, because I'm trying to read my books that I own. And I tend to, if I have prompts, I will buy something or get something just to make the prompt. And then things that I own don't fit there. If I do have things that are on my list here, I didn't check that fit the prompts. When I do my wrap up, I'll tell you which ones meet the requirements. Otherwise than that, these are books that I own that I just want to get read and that are mysteries. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have, let's start with the mysteries. This book I showed you guys last year, and this is The Missing American by Kwei Kwarte. And it is he's a Ghanaian author, and it's a mystery set there. And I just started it this morning. So I'm already, I'm trying to get the grasp of the characters so that, for me in the beginning of mysteries, it's like very important to know who's who. So that's where I am right now with this. So this one I'm very excited about reading. It's a first in a series. I'm anxious to read this because last year I bought it and when it came out and I didn't get a chance to really read it. But this year he's come out with the second one in this series. And so I definitely want to, get this one done. So if I do like it, then I can buy the next one, which is really nice because usually you have to wait a while for the next book. So he's written a bunch of other books, but this is the first in this particular series. So I'm looking forward to this one. Let's see. Another one that I mentioned to you guys a long time ago. I love cozy mysteries also. And I was looking, Troy Towell, I listened on his channel, and I guess a couple of years ago, he was talking about Black mystery writers, and I started thinking about the ones that I owned. And then I think I don't know if I heard this particular author for him, but I feel like I did. And I was curious, so I picked it up and I never read it. And this one is The Plot is Murder, a mystery bookshop mystery by V.M. Burns. And apparently, I don't know if she has these kind of dogs or whatever, but there's dogs on every cover of her books. And so I definitely want to try to get a chance to do this, but if not, this is just one to let you guys know if you're looking for a Black female mystery writer, this is one also that you might want to check out. I can't recommend it yet because I haven't read it, but it is one that I would like to get to at some point or other. Another one that I've had for a while, and I had this author's another book. I didn't have the first one, and I just recently, not too recently, but snagged this one off of the bargain table. It's Attica Locke's Blueware Bluebird, and this is the first of a mystery series. This is also written by a Black author. This one is set in Texas, and I think it's a Black Texas Ranger who's solving this case in this book. And I keep saying it that I'm going to read it, and I don't. So I'm kind of hoping that this will be the time that I'll get it done this year. Again, the books are big, so we'll see what I can accomplish in a month. But this is one of the ones. Now, the next one I'm definitely going to read because I read her every year, and it's bittersweet because it's the last of this series. And it's Rachel Housel Hall, and it's City of Saviors, a Detective Eloise Norton novel. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I just love this author. I love this series. I purposely wait until March to read the next one in the series. And I believe this is the last one in the Eloise Norton series. So I'm kind of sad. She does have new books. Actually, another one that's come out this year, and I think the last 2 years, they are standalone books. and I will get to them. I purposely did not touch those because I wanted to stay with this before I moved on to her more current books. But this one will continue on with Detective Eloise, otherwise known as Lou, in the book. What I liked about these books is I like the language, I like the stories, I like that she brings out she highlights the fact that women of color, in particular Black women and children and girls rather, their abduction and murders are less prominent in the news, and there's less focus on the research and the investigating to solve these cases. And there's always some kind of case in here that she'll put in here that usually is about a girl or a woman. But I also love the gritty, the dialogue between the characters. I like the complexity of Lou and her backstory, and I just think it's just a great series. I wish she would do more. I know she's moved on to other things, but I'm really sad to read the last one. So this one is a definite for this month. Now, this one I've had for a long time, and because I think this is one of the original ones published, and I have several of hers, and I read this when it came out, but I don't remember it, and I want to go back and jump into this series. This is also a series by a Black author, and her name is Eleanor Taylor Bland, and it's called Dead Time, the first Marty McAllister mystery. I can't remember even what this one was about, so I am going to jump into it. I know she's a female cop, obviously, and I just can't wait to read it because I have probably about 4 in this series. So, you know, I just collected, you know, I always collect books, and when I can find another one, I'll buy them. But I know I had liked it when I read it back then, so this is another one that I'm going to try to read. Now, in the women's history front, I have options. I have some options. I have this one that I found on, this is where the beauty is. Sometimes I play around with my ebook library subscription on Libby and Hoopla, and I just look to see what's coming out. And on Libby in particular, sometimes you can just find things that are older, that have been around a little while, as opposed to always the latest book. And this book I started reading, I want to say 2 months ago, and I just read the first chapter and loved it so much. I was like, I'm going to order it. So I bought it, and then I said, I'll save it for this month, for Women's History Month. And this one is African American Women of the West by Tricia Martineau Wagner. Look at the cover. Isn't it fantastic? And it is, I believe it's 10 different women. Each chapter is focused on them, and of women, African American women of the West. And I tell you, I can't wait to do the wrap up of this when I finish it, because the first one was just eye-opening, and I found myself going online to try to look up information. I love when books do that for me. I know nothing of this aspect of history, and so I think this is going to be really, really impressive. So if you get a chance to grab it, I mean, don't she look badass with that rifle? Come on now. Okay. But anyway, and she's all dressed up too. So I definitely want to read this one for Women's History Month. Now, another that I was toying with, and I don't have it on physically, but it's Looking for Lorraine by Imani Perry. And that's Lorraine Hansberry, the first African-American playwright. And she did Raisin in a Sun. I would really love to read her story. And so if something happens miraculously and I can move through these books, this is on my list. I would like to get to it before the end of the year, period, whether I finish it this month or not. So that's the other book that I'd like to do for Women's History Month. There are plenty more, but I know that I'm not even going to be able to read all of these things that I just showed you, so I won't give you too many more. The other thing that I wanted to let you all know, since it's Women's History Month, I recently subscribed to Hulu, and I purposely was excited to get it this past weekend because there is a movie on there by Lee Daniels, who's amazing, that is United States versus Billie Holiday. And I tell you, I've watched Lady Sing the Blues, and I cried when I watched that. This one was just the same. It focused on it in a different way, and how the government really was coming down on her. And if I dare say that there will be nobody that will watch it and not cry, especially as near the end of the movie. I was just full on really crying. I think that's a really good one if you're looking to find out more about Billie Holiday. And I know there's books. I listen to her music because I do listen to a lot of jazz, but I thought that was a really good iteration of the history behind her and her activism, and how the government really tried to destroy her. So that's another one that you can all check out if you're interested in. Other than that, I think this is what I'm going to try to do. So I really want to get this one. I didn't do it last year. This one, I really feel annoyed that I haven't got to it. And I actually read a book by her sister last year, and I was like, oh, I know that name sounds familiar. I need to read this. Okay, and so this one is definitely going to get read, right? So we think these three could be the final contenders. And then for the women's history, definitely that one. So these could be the potential for at the end of the month that I could be like, yay! And I passed the finish line, I read it. I don't know. We'll see if it happens. I hope so. The others, I will try to get to them if I can get to them. It is what it is. It is freezing here today. I know I usually just tell you my weather on Fridays, but I wanted to say today it's 11 degrees right now. 11 degrees Fahrenheit. And the winds are up to 40 miles an hour. It's going to go the whole day. It went all night, and it sounds like we're next to the ocean, and you can hear the ocean. It's just really loud. So hopefully no power outages, no trees down, because we do have a lot of trees here. And hopefully it gets warmer, because 11 degrees is not, I'm not going anywhere. It's definitely a good day to sit under the covers and read one of these. So I hope you guys participate in March Mystery Madness and Women's History Month. Let me know what you're reading, because I can write it down and add it to my gigantic TBR. I'm always willing to do that. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Wash your hands, social distance. Bye.